All right. Hello, everyone. It's quite a familiar track this week, I'm sure, for many of you. We're here in Monza, Italy, the Temple of Speed, one of the most iconic racetracks in Formula One, and we've got a Division 3 race for you today. Already one retirement from CJ Butch that happened while I was setting up the live stream, so not quite sure what happened there, but certainly not the start of the session he would have wanted to have. Now, got a couple times up on the boards. KTM Sweden with a 120.6 is the current fastest time. Aizen P2 in the Alpine with a 121.2. The rest of these drivers have not set a lap time yet. I do realize now I have not introduced myself, but I think you all know who I am. If you don't, ISRL Knight here in the commentary booth presenting you this race as usual. Now, apologies if you hear a little bit. Okay, no, I think I've got it. I was just loading up the stream so I could check out the comments. And I thought my volume was up. No. Let's go, Marco, says Ivan Selinovic. I hope I said that decently enough. On a lap currently, let's check out. I believe Always Rick is on a lap, barreling down the back straight right now, and approaching the ever-famous Parabolica. It's not named like that anymore, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the new name, so I'm just going to keep calling it the Parabolica, until somebody points it out to me, at least. It's round 12 of 16, which means there's 4 races left after this. This is the 5th last race of the season, and all importantly, as always, Rick does go P2 and then promptly pulls aside to not impede anybody. It does mean that the championship battle is closing up. Ever so slightly, at least. I see Lorenzo there behind some other cars on the back straight, as there's a little bit of queuing up as these guys all getting ready to set their laps. Boris is coming into the pits. Vex the Vexer starting a lap, but he's invalidated his previous lap. Craigo approaching turn 1 right now. And into Curva Grande he goes. He's got a 121.7 currently. Good enough for P5, but with only half the grid having set a lap, I don't think that's going to stay that way for very long. Keeping pretty good speed there. Little checkup on the entry into Lesmo 2, but it does look like the Red Bull is on good pace, and of course we're back to the regular Red Bull liveries this week. The white one getting removed from the game when they added Jetta earlier this week, and yeah, I don't know which one I like, but the white Red Bull is so nice as Craigo goes way off track. It's going to cost him some time, but he has not invalidated his lap. He has backed off, though. On board with his teammate we go, then, as Lorenzo, 1086, our championship leader. So that's the fastest Sector 2, and as he also navigates the Scar, this time a little bit better than his teammate. It does look like he's going to be setting this lap. Great entry there from Lorenzo, keeping that car rock steady. The steering wheel almost no moving going around, and he absolutely knows where to steer that car, and it's only good enough for P3 despite 2 fastest sectors. So I think Lorenzo probably made a mistake somewhere in the start of the lap. We know the curbs around here are certainly tricky since they updated them a few, I think about a month or 2 ago. When they added Portimao, I want to say, or it might have been Imola. I don't remember exactly, but the curves at turn 1, turn 2, turn 4 and turn 5 are they quite capable of launching a car in the air, and if you do that, you're certainly going to ruin that lap. That's if you don't send it into the wall first. Yellow flags in Sector 2, that's just one of the Red Bulls letting Bumblebee by, so nothing to worry about there. We're on board with Bacher now, who had great qualifying last week. Unfortunate race, though, as he suffered from an early retirement, and hopes, I'm sure, that he can fix that this time around. Navigates that curve just nicely, right on the edge. If you get the underside there, the floor of the car to go over that curb, you're going to get launched. But you can put a wheel over it, not lose any time. You're going to gain time, in fact. So that's what he did quite nicely there. And as he gets onto the back straight, is that a wheel in the grass I saw? That might have cost him a little bit of top speed. But under the bridge, over to Parabolica. He's not Parabolica, sorry, Ascari. He's at 1.4 seconds down on his time. That is good enough for P5 if he can keep that up throughout the lap. Will he, though? It's easy to lose time in Parabolica. Just a bad entry, a bad exit. You can drift wide. You have to drift wide to get the speed, but you can drift wide a little bit sooner than intended and scrub too much speed off. And he actually goes quicker in Sector 3. He gets another 4/10 off his time there, 120.872. That's good enough for the front row of the grid, right ahead of always Rick, his RPM compatriot. Passe in our comments says, Sprunky on pole, I'd say. Vince Salinovich has some more practice on the pronunciation, and you've got it. Ivan Salinovich is, tell me where to practice, and I'll practice. I assume Marco Salinovich is not quite far off in terms of pronunciation, is it? Joseph Allison, let's go Richie. ISRL F1 Richie sporting a new gamer tag this week. He's still in the same Ferrari, though. Richie Cavallino. I'm just going to call him Richie because I think that's what everyone knows him by, if I'm being honest. Boris and there you go. You can see what I'm talking about when I say you can ramp it off the curb there. You saw the whole front end of that car catch air. You have to see just how much time that's going to cost him, but as he goes through Curva Grande, he's actually matched his time, so I think he might have made a mistake on his first attempt as well. Navigates that chicane much better, the De La Roja chicane. And through the Lesmos, he's kept it quite clean as well. A little bit of grass there right before the entry, but not enough to upset the car. We're going to see where Boris can go. I'm going to run you through the standings quickly. It is currently Lorenzo, P1, with a 41-point gap over Sprunky in P2. And there was a spin out there, and I believe that was Azen in the Alpine. It was. Having a problem through Ascari there, not going to improve his time on this lap. Boris, though, has invalidated his lap, so he's going to be diving back into the pits. No improvement there. F1 Richie. Sorry, just Richie now, is P3 with 217 points. He's 41 points back of our leaders. 8 points separate second and third. So Lorenzo, if he has a bad race here and there between the... between now and the end of the season, he could let Sprunky and Richie claw right back into that championship position, which Sprunky occupied for most of the season after a super strong start in the Aston Martin. Bumblebee's in P4 with 195 points, as we see Ephraim just spinning it out there, turn one. Make sure not to impede anybody. He spins it the right way around. Just going to wait for that Ferrari to go through of Richie. And onwards he goes. And since we did see Richie go through, let's ride on board with Richie while I run you through the standings. Bumblebee P4. Bacher is P5 with 147 points. He is a little bit under 50 points back of Bumblebee. Synchro is the other Aston Martin, P6, 139 points, 127 points back of our leader. Ephraim is in P7, 126 points. Krago P8, 124 points. And KTM Sweden, 114 points. CJ Butch sits in P10 with an even 166 points back of our leader. Just a reminder, leader Lorenzo, 266 points on the year. Free Falls P11, Vex to Vexters P12, Boris P13, Azen P14. He's tied with Galua for P15. Galua has not raced in a while though, so probably won't be getting any points anytime soon. Always Rick, 45 points in P16. Cozy, who's given up his seat for the rest of the season, P17 with 39 points. I think he's going to keep that total unless Marco Salinovich or Doomsray can get a good result here. They sit at 15 and 13 points in P18 and P19 currently. But yeah, it is quite tight at the front. Richie goes P12, not the best lap for the Ferrari, which he have seen win at Monza before. So I'm sure he's going to be hoping to replicate that result. Lorenzo improves his time quite dramatically, goes 4/10 clear of KTM Sweden for pole position, 5/10 clear of his teammate, not his teammate, but his championship rival Sprunky in third. And Just Allison says, Richie on the mediums. You're right. He is on the mediums if we take out the tire details. But he's out of the top 10, so it doesn't matter much because he's going to get free tire choice anyways. If you're going to qualify on the mediums, you need to get yourself into the top 10. It's the only time that that's actually going to be beneficial for you. So Richie, yeah, he was on the mediums. It's 1:22.2, but certainly not the time he would have wished for, I'm sure. Always Rick trying to improve, and there is, I think, something going on. Turn 1, might have been just cars letting other cars through, but always Rick through Scary. Joseph Allison's Ferrari is going to try a long run one stop again. Neither of them in the top 10, so they're going to be crowded by everybody else starting P11 to P16, also on that same strategy. So they are going to want to improve, maybe go out for another lap on the mediums, because if they cannot get in the top 10, then it's a little moot point. The strategy advantage is just not going to be there, but not sure how quickly these mediums are going to degrade here around Monza. Could they do 2 qualifying laps? We're going to find out. Depends on what the Ferraris do next. Both of them in the pits right now, as always Rick drifts onto the grass there. He did improve his time. He's not on a hot lap there, and he is currently P5. I believe the Vexter has just started a lap, and he has. In the Williams, trying to get his Williams out of the bottom 3. No elimination here in short qualifying, but you do want to get yourself as far up the grid as you can. Synchros with a retirement. I believe that must have been in the pits. Whoa there, Sprunky. As he banks it off the wall there. I'm not sure what's happening. I think Synchros did retire in the pits. Probably will not have time to go for another lap. There's only a minute 12 left in qualifying, so everybody now out of the pits starting their final laps. Richie is going out on the mediums once again, I think, but his teammate opting for the softs. Going to be on board here with KTM Sweden as he tries to reclaim P1, which he held it earlier in the session. Coming around the final corner, you got to cut it nice and tight to the apex. He does improve. It is not enough to get pole position. KTM Sweden stays P3 behind Sprunky and Lorenzo. Sprunky will not be setting another lap time. Bumblebee is starting his lap now. No, he's finishing his lap. Stays P4. Bacher starting a lap, I think. Yes, he is in the McLaren. Coming to the line now, trying to catch him as they cross it. I believe Vexter. No, he's in the Lesmos. That would be Azen coming to the line. Indeed, the 2 Ferraris are starting their laps. I think they're just going to make the line here. Though Emilio's is going to want to hurry up just a tiny bit. Is he going to make the line? 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh no, he has not made the line. And Emilio's, oh no, he has. I think my timer might be just a little bit off. because Melios has made the line. There is no checkered flag next to his name. He's going to be able to get one more lap in. Vexa Vexter, 3 laps on these soft tires, invalidated this lap. It's not going to count. That's the end of his qualifying. Boris on the back straight, P8, not going to count this lap. He's invalidated it. That is the end of his qualifying as well. Is this Azen? Who is the car behind him? I think that might be KTM Sweden on his in-lap. Bacher coming through Parabolica. We'll catch him as he goes to the line. And what time is he going to set? He is on a good time here. He should improve. And he goes into the 120s. Doesn't improve ever so slightly. 9 thousandths of a second. Not enough to gain a position. Ephraim as well. That's the end of his qualifying. Not going to improve. Azen's the next one to cross the line. He's at a 117 on as he puts in the power. This is not going to be in the 120s. It is just barely. Azen goes P8 with a 120.9. I thought he was going to slip out just barely into the 121s, but he keeps it in the right time. He does improve. He gets himself into the top 10. F1 Richie is going to improve. Not enough to improve his position, though, as everybody else there on the softs just setting faster times. Emilios has made a mistake, I think, because he's 4 seconds down on his time, and that is going to be the end of qualifying for us. One car did not set a lap. That's CJ Butch. I think an early accident. I was setting up the stream. I have no idea what happened. Lorenzo, 1086, pole position. Sprunky on the front row with him. The 2 championship rivals going into turn 1 side by side. And isn't that going to be spicy? And there you see it. Sprunky, Lorenzo lining up on the front row. KTM Sweden and Bumblebee, the 2 Mercedes, going to be hunting them down into turn 1. There are P3, P4 synchros, and always Rick on the 3rd row of the grid for Aston Martin and Haas. The RPM compatriot, RPM Bacher, right behind his teammate, always Rick, going to be starting on the other side of the grid. P7 for the McLaren, Azen, P8 for the Alpine, one of his better qualifying results as of late. Boris and Ephraim round out the top 10 for Haas and Williams. Then you have Milios, Vexa Vexter, Craigo, Richie, Marco Stilinovic, and CJ Butch finishing up the grid here. 2 drivers qualifying on the mediums. I don't think either of them are going to start the race on that same set of mediums. Because I think they're out of the top 10. They should pick a new one. Okay, so drivers on the grid getting set up, getting ready. 2 championship leaders lining up on the front row. Do you have any predictions? Oh, I'm sure I got a couple, and while I do hope for these 2 guys that there is no shenanigans, there is no contact into turn 1 with the championship on the line, would not be surprised if Sprunky absolutely sticks the elbows out and tries to make his car as wide as possible in that corner. Richie, though, he's going to have a lot of work to do from the back if he wants to catch up to his championship rivals. At the moment, I think he's going to get passed by Bumblebee, assuming he finishes at the back. But with Richie, I think what we all know is that is not the case. We do have an extra McLaren joining us there. I think he got in right at the end of quali. Very happy that the lobby did not glitch here. But Gorang Patnar, I don't know that name. But I do hope he is a reserve. warming up the tires, very crucial on the formation lap. You absolutely need to have peak temperature on the start, a little bit of wheel spin, and you could see yourself falling down the order. And on a track like Monza, it's such a long run to turn 1 and such an abrupt braking zone. When you get to it, it's very easy to get filtered out and pushed back through the field. The two championship leaders, they're excited. They're trying to get this race going, absolutely just cruising around there on the formation lap. The rest of the grid, a little slower to catch up, but they're starting to do that now. As we go through Ascari down the back straight and getting ready for the start of this race. I'm going to take a quick sip of my drink. I'm going to try to refresh these courses. I think there's going to be a lot of yelling into turn 1. And yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Okay. All right. They're lining up on the grid. I'm nice and refreshed. I am ready for this race. I hope you are too. We have 27 laps around the Temple of Speed coming up. It's Monza, Italy, home of the Tifosi, Ferrari's favorite track. But the two Ferraris got a lot of work to do today if they want to catch up. It's 3, it's 4, it's 5 lights, and they're off. And it's a good start from Lorenzo Sprunky with a little bit of wheel spin. There's a Ferrari on the grass trying to go for an overtake there. I'm not sure who that is, but Sprunky's going to get challenged by the Mercedes of Bumblebee into turn 1. Oh no! And he just blows the corner. He actually makes contact with Lorenzo there, and both of them having to cut through and regain those positions. Sprunky there with a bit of an unsafe rejoining, hitting the side of Bacher. Don't think there's any damage on there, but a crazy start. CJ Butch and Richie have gained a couple of positions as they're shuffling in the back. And as we approach the Lesmos for the first time, it's Lorenzo with a big lead because of that send by Bumblebee. He might have just gifted Lorenzo a free race win. It is so hard to catch up there without the DRS on this track, and Sprunky's going to be under all sorts of pressure from the others. And I think Bumblebee might have a little bit of wing damage, maybe. I'm not sure. He did make pretty sturdy contact with some of these cars. Boris and Marko Solinovic have had an off further down the track. There is damage on those cars. There is no safety car here, but there is a 5-second penalty for Boris. Azen has lost it through Ascari, and much like he did in qualifying, that Alpine is not sticking to the track through those curves. Very easy to spin it out there. As Marko Solinovic taking a bit of a interesting line through Ascari himself. And so it is there at the end of lap 1. Lorenzo from Sprunky from Synchros. The two Aston Martins hanging on to the double podium as it stands, but Bacher is right behind Synchros. Bumblebee has dropped to P5. He suffered greatly there after that mistake at the start. Always Rick is in P6. He's had a decent start. Melios and Ephraim has had some pretty good starts as we take a look at our position change here. And as you can see there, 4 places gained from Craigo, 5 from CJ Butch, 7 places lost from Azen, 8 from Boris, as both of the bottom 2 cars there into the pits to fix that broken front wing. There are there's a bit more chaos happening here. I'm not sure who. I think that's Vexter who's had an off there at the Della Roja chicane, and through the Lesmos, Craigo, you can see holding off a whole pack of cars there. And fending for his life there, CJ Butch all over the rear of him. KTM Sweden has lost a lot of positions, and that's gone rather unnoticed. I think he may have got involved in those turn 1 shenanigans. He takes one of them back as he makes a move on CJ Butch. Nice little move into Ascari, getting him on the brakes. It's they're starting to file down here as some incidents happen. The curbs taking some victims already. Lorenzo, though, taking victims of his own as he takes the fastest lap point away from his rivals. And there it is, a virtual safety car as we have another off in Ascari, and that is Aizen again, and there is no front wing, and due to debris on the racetrack, that's going to be a VSC. Not a full safety car, though. It's just going to neutralize the race here. Vex Vector takes a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he enters the pits to fix some of his damage, I think. But Sprunky 2.9 seconds away from Lorenzo under VSC here, and it is possible to gain some time under VSC if you just time the restart well. It's very possible to lose a lot of time if you're not careful and you take a drive through. And none of these guys want this right now. They're going to be respecting their delta, I think, to the letter, and that's a good idea that Lorenzo gets some heat in those tires. That's a thing drivers too often forget under VSC. You're not putting as much load into the tires as you would under green flag conditions, and it's quite easy to not warm those tires up, and you restart, you're on cold tires and you get a spin. We've seen that happen time after time. Our championship leaders, though, they're not going to be falling victim to that. It is quite a long safety car here. We've done the full lap now almost. No signs of it ending just yet. And there it is, there it ends, and DRS is enabled as we are on lap 3, and off they go. 2.1 seconds the gap. Sprunky did manage to gain a bit of time on Lorenzo in that VSC, but Lorenzo with a little faster on the acceleration coming out of Parabolica. He's going to claw about a 1/10 of a second back. KM Synchros is going to be fending off Bacher soon with DRS enabled. Take a look at the tire strategy. It looks like Vex Vector has gone onto the hards. Everybody else, though, still in the mediums, and the guys that have pit have mostly gone on the mediums. Marcos Linovich on the soft tire. Bit of an interesting choice, but I'm sure he's got his reasons for it. KTM Sweden has gotten back a position he lost to Krago on the start. He's back into the top 8, and now if you look at the mini map there on the bottom right, you can see there is a bit of a gap between KTM Synchros in P8 and Ephraim in P7, so he's going to have to claw that back there if he wants a chance to gain any more positions, and for that he's going to have to break away from the pack behind him, because if they get DRS on him, if they catch up, he's going to be in for a hard time, because he does not want to lose time battling those guys on the mediums. Luckily for him, though, 1.5 seconds the gap. They should not have DRS on this lap. The two Ferraris, though, as we're going to take a look at this battle behind there, very close to each other. And we saw Melios all over the rear of CJ Butch. And I do think there's going to be a move being made either right now or down the next straightaway. Melios does not want to wait. He tries to send it around the outside of Parabolica. And is this going to cost him some time to his teammate? Because Richie now is going to have a great run on his teammate through this start-finish straight. He's going to get DRS, and side by side, Melios doing the smart thing there, letting his teammate by. The two Ferraris not wanting to fight. I think Melios recognizing here that Richie has a championship fight he needs to tend to, and letting him go on there. But that doesn't mean he's not going to try to take back the position one day or later in this race. We've seen that happen with teammates. Okay, you give it a go, because I can't get by, and if you still can't get by, I want that position back. We'll see if that's what happens down in the Ferrari garage. And Bacher, I see here, side by side with Synchros. He is going to take the position long before Ascari, and that's a good move there from Bacher to get it done and get in clear air before the long straightaway. There's no DRS on this one, so if he gets a better exit out of Ascari, he should be able to at least conserve some of that lead. But now with DRS on the main straight, he might just lose that position again. And actually, looks like Synchro's got a much better run through Parabolica than Bacher. And as we ride on the rear wing of the McLaren, defending the inside, and Synchros is going to have to go around the outside, and it's side by side into turn 1. They're wheel to wheel. Who's going to break later? It's going to be Bacher. There's a little bit of contact on the rear there. Synchros thought about doing a switchback, but Bacher is going to keep the position. Brilliant defending there from the McLaren. There were some yellow flags earlier on. Marcos Linovich not having a great time there on the turn 1 curve. I think he had a spin, but he's gotten himself going again, and he's going to need to keep stay mistake-free if he doesn't want to get lapped here. Aizen with another spin in Ascari, as he's just not having a good time today. But it is a tough corner. You get that inside curb on the exit, and the car's going to go right around, and I do think that's what's happening to Aizen here, because it always seems to be at the same place in that corner as well. So he's going to have to adjust his line through there. This battle's not done there, as Synchros, oh, he got so close, but that's not a heavy braking zone there, could not send it down the inside safely, backs out of it. But unfortunately for these two, they're fighting hard, and they are letting the Mercedes of Bumblebee catch up to them, as you can see Bumblebee there just sitting in the background, eyeing this battle, waiting to pounce on a mistake. Could he maybe get both of them down the straightaway at some point? We will see. Synchros now, for sure, he's going to get Bacher again on this one. Mirror of last time out. It was Synchros on the inside before. It's Synchros on the outside this time, and it works much better for Synchros than it did last time, because he does get the move done before the turn one. Does not have to battle that one, and now Bacher is stuck in a Mercedes power sandwich. Although I guess he does have Mercedes power of his own, so not much of a sandwich if you got three of the same thing. There's a yellow flag. Sorry, I'm trying to spot what that yellow flag. I think that's Krago, who's had an off. Is there damage on the Red Bull? Don't think so, no. I think he's just had a spin off the curbs there. Unfortunately for him, it looks like Richie has not been able to get by CJ Butch, and this has allowed KTM Sweden to really just cruise off ahead. And you can see Emilio's all over his teammate. These two Ferraris very evenly matched this weekend, and you'd think it's Richie in both cars with the pace they have, but I assure you it is not. Always Rick now catching up to Ephron, but that's not where the meat of this battle is. This right here is side by side through Parabolica, goes Bacher and Synchros, as Bacher gets the run down the back straight, but Synchros gets the run on the outside, and now, oh, this is not good for them, because Bumblebee's got DRS, he's right behind them, and Bumblebee, I think, is going to be going for a move here. Oh, he's picking the outside line. Interesting there from Bumblebee, as he's going to have to go the long way around, but Bacher giving him room there to turn one. Great driving from both of them there, and it is Bacher who holds onto the position. Gave a lot of room to Bumblebee, and I think Bumblebee not expecting that much room, taking it a bit too cautious, and losing out on the acceleration phase of that turn. It's through the De La Roja still. Synchros, Bacher, Bumblebee in that order. The battle for P3 right now raging, as Sprunky and Lorenzo trying to drive off in the distance as best they can. Ephraim and always Rick are having a battle of their own there. I think they swap positions briefly, but it's Ephraim Dapone who is still ahead in this one. P6 this battle, and it's going to switch again as through this second DRS zone and into Ascari they go, and it's going to be always Rick now grabbing on to that P6. Great battles today in Monza. Absolutely exciting race. We're on lap 8 out of 27, which means I think we're going to be seeing some of these soft runners pitting soon. This should throw a little... That's a ballsy overtake, to say the least, there from Ephraim, as he sends it down the inside in Parabolica and pits, just like I said. And he takes a 5-second. Ephraim too eager to get into the pits there. That's going to cost him major time there at the end of the race. He's not going to get that penalty removed. He was on stream, caught live in 4K, and into the pits they go. It's Ephraim with a daring overtake into turn one, but I do think at this point, if you're going to pit anyways right after it, why would you send it? You're going to lose. You end up losing time when you do that, because you're battling. You're forcing both of each of you to go a little bit slower than you could have had you just followed him through. And Ephraim being behind, I don't know if you guys saw that. Oh my goodness, almost getting taken out by Always Rick. The cold hard tires catching him by surprise. But I was going to say, I don't know if you saw that. Ephraim went to pit. Always Rick was going to keep going, and he only pit because Ephraim pit. So if Ephraim had not sent it on Always Rick there into the corner, if he would have stayed behind, he could have gotten the undercut. He could have taken Rick by surprise and pit behind him. Oh, and again, the hard tires causing all sorts of issues there for the Haas. This battle has not stopped. KTM Sweden, through that chaos, has managed to lose 2 positions, and he's down in P5. Bumblebee up into oh, sorry, no, I'm getting all confused. KM Synchros is gained a position with Sprunky Pit, and I was getting all sorts of disoriented because of the similar paint schemes between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. And yes, it is. Synchros was still ahead, and Bacher in the middle of them. They are both going to pit. This is going to give Bumblebee the lead of the race because our leader Lorenzo has pit as well. And now Sprunky is not clear Lorenzo, but he's much closer this time around. Going on the soft tires. Interesting choice there for Sprunky. I think he's going to go for a 2-stop strategy. Well, he has to at this point because he went soft. So Sprunky now, he's going to have to pace. I think he's going to hope he can get by Lorenzo, but Lorenzo can go to the end of this race on that set of medium compound tires. So hoping for a safety car, I would assume, from Sprunky, or hoping that he can just dust Lorenzo on these soft tires, take the lead of the race outright, and get that pit stop in hand. Don't know if that's going to happen, though. Lorenzo has shown massive pace around the Temple of Speed this weekend. Richie and CJ, Richie has gotten by CJ Butch, by the way, if you had not noticed. Now, the thing is, these guys, they are fighting for position. They are not they are ahead of our leaders, and our leaders are closing on them quite rapidly. You can see Lorenzo there right behind this battle. There is the lapped car isn't in the way. He's not going to be an issue. He is going to get ghosted, but if these guys pull up on Melio, CJ Butch, and Richie, you know, Bumblebee pits, and Melio's now going for a move on CJ Butch. CJ Butch, look at that, getting boxed in by the Ferraris. Great teamwork as Richie takes that middle line and then moves to the left and does not allow CJ Butch to have a run on his teammates, and that's going to be both Ferraris past the Alfa Romeo. Great teamwork there. Both teammates working together to make sure the move stuck, and this is going to slow them down quite considerably, actually, because Lorenzo's now 1.3 seconds behind these guys. Sprunky 0.2 behind Lorenzo. Those soft tires working wonders for the Aston Martin, and if I'm sure he's saying, if only I could do a soft run, but unfortunately, Sprunky, you can't. You're gonna have to pit for mediums at one point, and I do hope this strategy does work out for you. It's Aizen pulling over to the side there, gonna let our leaders through, and not impeding any of them there. Sprunky, though, not in any position to make a move here. Right ahead of them, the battle rages on. CJ Butch still quite close to the Ferraris. Melio's, I think, having a bit of an off there, going wide through Ascari, trying to catch the car, because we saw him rejoining with a bit of a funky line. There goes Sprunky down the inside. Oh, they touch, and Sprunky's around, and Sprunky has essentially thrown away that battle there for the lead, because he sent it down the inside. I don't know if Lorenzo has cut in on him, but they touch wheels and around they go. And now Sprunky has lost P5. He is 7 seconds behind Lorenzo, fuming in that cockpit, I'm sure, and the Aston Martin has dropped down the grid considerably there. Was that impatient from Sprunky? I don't know. We didn't have the best angle on it, but it did look like he was side by side with the Red Bull going into the corner. Now, if he was side by side, this does not mean it is Lorenzo's fault. Sprunky could have drifted wide into the Red Bull as well, so the stewards, I'm sure, going to take a look at that incident post-race. Lorenzo, as we were talking about him, making a nifty little move on CJ Butch through the De La Rosa chicane, and through the Lesmos he goes now, 1.3 seconds of the Ferraris. Who is that having an off there? I think that is Boris? No, it is always Rick who's had a spin. Sprunky getting past the McLaren of Gorang Patnar. And I know I'm mispronouncing that. Heartbreak for Sprunky in Italy there. Bumblebee behind, getting past McLaren as well. Not quite into the corner. McLaren trying to challenge that, but not able to do so. '12-lap old medium tires, currently P1, P2, for P7. These guys are going to have to pit soon, and they're probably going to put on the softs. I do wonder where they're going to come out, though, and if they're going to be able to actually catch up to these guys. A safety car here would be tremendous for the medium runners. But as it stands, I don't think anybody is really going to be putting in any daring moves that might result in that. So I think it's going to be somebody dropping it on a curb, especially through Ascari. That might trigger the safety car here. Although having this race go to the end without safety car, oh man, that could be special as well, because there's a lot of guys here that are in a good position. Lorenzo aside there, these medium runners have really played their cards well, because if we do gap to leader here on the interval, you can see they're going to be coming out in the top 10. They started way out of the top 10. If they're not in the top 10, they're going to be right behind KTM Sweden. So they could have a great run of pace here in the second half of the race. Lorenzo, though, having a great run of pace now as he is catching up the Ferrari of Emilio's. Emilio's defending the inside. Lorenzo goes, well, you know what? I'm just going to go more inside. And both of them trying to make a move on Richie here. The Ferrari side by side through turn 1. Ferrari side by side through turn 2. But Lorenzo not giving that one up, going around the outside of Richie in turn 2 and through the Curva Grande. It's going to be Red Bull and Ferrari wheel to wheel, and it's going to be Red Bull ahead as they exit that corner. Richie not giving up yet, though. You can see him thinking about setting up a move through this chicane. No, Lorenzo, too much pace, too much grip on those fresh medium tires, and Richie is going to have to settle for P3 there. Oh no, there it is, his teammate losing it through Lesmo 1 into the wall, and that's going to be wing damage for Emilio's. A virtual safety car has been put out, and that is going to neutralize the race quite effectively here as Lorenzo takes the lead shortly before that happens. Now we did see Lorenzo lose some pace through the previous virtual safety car. Will that happen again? Not sure. We're going to keep an eye out on the gap from Sprunky to Lorenzo. As 9.5 seconds it is now. We'll see what it is at when they restart. Now, Richie not pitting under VSC. Now, that is interesting. I would have pit if I was Richie. We know the softs can do about 10 laps. You pit under VSC, you've gotten yourself a very cheap pit stop. But I think Richie opting not to pit because he did not want to double stack his teammate. I think Richie should have pit there personally. But I'm sure he's got his pit strategy figured out. It would have been a very cheap, easy pit stop, though, for the Scuderia Ferrari team, and it would have essentially cut down on that gap. He could have come out potentially as high as 6th or 7th here. KTM Sweden with a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car, VSC, but it's not showing up there on... Oh, no, it is. I was looking at the wrong name, was I? Let's get the intervals back. Let's get the penalties back. And yeah, KTM Sweden going to have a drive-through that is going to send him for sure to the back of this leading pack here. And by leading pack, of course, I'm talking about all the way down to Crago. It's just a drive-through. It's not going to be 20 seconds, but that is still a solid 15-second penalty there for the Mercedes. Not the best race so far. Had a tough start, fought his way back, and now the drive-through penalty just absolutely dashing his dreams as we reach past the midway point of this race. We're back under green, though, and that gap, Sprunky now, he's caught up quite dramatically, hasn't he? 4 seconds. Sprunky he's gotten quite good at gaining time under VSC. I'm not quite sure how he does it. You can't really game the system, but I think he's just getting lucky with when the VSC is disabled, and he's able to accelerate a little bit earlier and scrub some of that extra delta and have a higher top speed by the end of that straightaway as Lorenzo not set for at least a couple of seconds in the gap. But he is catching up, though. He does have to pit once more, so Sprunky not quite in the fight yet, but it is quite impressive how much he's managed to catch up here under VSC. Now, a bit of a weather change here. It is getting cloudy. Is there rain maybe set for the end of this race? Is that why Sprunky went soft? Could he be planning on this track getting wet towards the final laps? Because it's gotten quite cloudy. It's gotten quite a bit darker, I find. It was bright and sunny at the start of this race, and yeah, there's still 11 laps to go in this race. Quite a ways to go, but I think some of these questionable pit strategies are starting to make sense. I think Richie not pitting, Sprunky going for softs. If there is predicted rain at the end of this race, those two calls make perfect sense. Richie is going to be trying to get his tires as far as possible and just hop on the inters. Sprunky trying to conserve pace, knowing he's going to have to pit again. So there's a yellow flag sector 2. There's nothing going to be declared for that, just a solo spin somewhere down the grid. But yeah, I at this point, I do think there might be some rain as Sprunky makes a move on Richie right after CJ Butch makes a move on Richie. Oh, and CJ Butch getting a bit of air on that curb, cutting that corner just a little bit too closely, isn't he? But Richie P4, that is, oh, there it is, the rain. I called it, and I saw that. We saw the first raindrops, and yes, there was rain for the end of this race. And like I said, those pit strategies are starting to make sense now. There is going to be another pit stop. There is going to be a change. And when is that pit stop going to happen? I don't know. It's not going to be this lap. The track's too dry for that. But depending on how quickly that rain falls, we could see a wide variety of pits. Some guys might go, all right, this track is too greasy, hop on the inter soon. Some guys might just try to tough it out so that they can take a fresh set of softs right till the end and still have maximum pace on them. Sprunky now going to be defending, taking a sharp line through the exit of Parabolica. Is going to let him defend the inside down the straight and make his move to the outside as these cars close up on DRS. And he's going to maintain second place because of that. And he's got more pace on Lorenzo. He is catching up still. So I think, you know what, I said earlier, I didn't know why Sprunky took the soft. I do now. And it's showing here in that extra pace he's getting as this track is dampening up quite considerably. You can see already these guys having to take it much easier through the corners, and you can just tell that this track is getting quite oily, as they say. We're seeing a little bit of standing water through the Lesmos. This is raining quite hard, and there goes CJ Butch losing it through Lesmo 1. And yes, just like I said, it is getting greasy, it is getting wet, and there will be pit stops at the end of this lap, I'm sure. Already you can see puddles forming almost on this racetrack. Marko Selinovic having a pit, taking a 5-second penalty, I'm sure, getting caught out by the greasier surface. Vexer with a DNF, and there is a safety car. Oh my goodness. And honestly, I think that's just right when we did not want one. Everybody scrambling to the pits, everybody gonna try to put the inters on, and now we've got a safety car. This is just gonna let everybody put the inters on. No more mistakes, and it's effectively just going to keep the order as is because everybody is going to pit here. Few guys, though, have 5-second penalties to serve in the pits, though. Emilios has a drive-through to serve in the pits. He's not going to be able to serve that under safety car. That means he's going to have to serve it after the safety car. He is effectively going to be last, I think. But everybody going on the inters there for sure. Synchro's in the pits. CJ Butch in the pits. CJ Butch doing a good job not to get any damage in that spin. Ephraim in the pits. Everybody's in the pits. Milios is not in the pits yet. But yeah, there he goes in the pits. Inters for the lot of them in that case. And we're going to get racing here in the wet very shortly. All right, hydrating myself because my throat was starting to hurt a bit there. This is absolutely cracking race by Div 3 here. And since we are getting to, well, the later stages of the race, let's take a look at the, that's not what I want. I want positions gained. There you go. Richie up 10, CJ Butch up 10, Go Rank Podner up 10. So a lot of those guys starting on the mediums. It does look like going extra long was worth it, and I questioned Richie's decision not to pit under VSC, and I gotta say, I'm eating those words now. The man knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the rain was going to come, and he knew that getting those medium tires all the way to the rain was the right call. It is certainly proven that, is shown to be that way. Apologies for the silence here, just been made aware of an issue in Div 4. I just need to give these guys a quick little hello. Okay. All right, sorry about that, guys. We're back. Well, I'm back. I mean, I never left, but yeah. Here we go. Lap 20 out of 27. There's going to be another lap under safety car. Should get the restart on lap 21 out of 27. That's going to be a nice little sprint to the end here. As 14 cars left, we've suffered from 3 DNFs so far. Vex of Extra, always Rick and Azen. Vex of Extra triggering that safety car, always Rick and Azen, I think, either retiring in the dampening conditions or retiring in the pits. They were a lap down, I believe, so it's not going to affect any of the order too much. But with only 14 finishers, everybody is guaranteed points. No new comments in a while, guys. If you're watching the live stream, make sure to drop a like. Make sure to check out our partners linked in the description. Advanced Sim Racing is helping us out with some goodies at the end of the season for the drivers. And while you're here, why don't you drop us in the comments your predictions for the race win? Sprunky, Bumblebee, Richie, and Lorenzo, the top 4 in the championship order, also top 4 in the race, although not in exactly the right order. But what this means is, if Lorenzo has it off, the rest of them all get podiums. It's going to be a very, very tight championship battle. Of course, if you remember when I was listing them out during qualifying, it is Lorenzo with 266 points. So 266, 41 points clear of Sprunky, 49 points clear of F1 Richie, 71 points clear of Bumblebee. Keep that in mind. A win is 40 points. Okay? So as we get back under green here, Lorenzo leading the restart. If Sprunky can win this race, and Lorenzo does get an unfortunate DNF in the last couple of laps, they will be 1 point apart. There are huge implications here for the championship on this restart, and I'm sure the drivers know it, because there goes Lorenzo. Very late restart, does not want to give anybody the advantage of slipstream down this main straightaway. And Sprunky there, as we approach the first heavy braking zone in the wets, is going to have to manage that car and just stay close to Lorenzo. He's gonna have time, he's gonna be able to make that move later, and it's going to be a good one, I'm sure. But for now, he's going to have to worry about Bumblebee, as Lorenzo gets a much better exit out of turn 1 than Sprunky. 1.3 seconds the gap, and meanwhile, Bumblebee doing everything he can to get his car up into P2. He doesn't care about the championship battle ahead. He wants his own championship battle. And if he can pass Sprunky, he's certainly going to be putting himself a little bit closer to into that mix. Richie, though, falling a little bit far back. Some of these drivers, right, with their setups, they might take just a little bit longer to warm those tires up to Inter's temperatures. I think that's why we see Lorenzo already darting off in the distance. 2.3 seconds ahead of Sprunky. Maybe Sprunky's just struggling in the wet right now. Bumblebee 0.4 back from him. 1.3 seconds back is Richie in P4. Everybody else is going quite nicely, I have to say. No big offs, no big accidents on this restart. And when the track changes so dramatically between the last green lap and green flag lap and the restart, we do tend to see accidents as guys just not quite up to grips with the conditions. Great work there from Division 3 so far to keep everybody grounded and facing the right way, and of course in this race. No moves yet from Bumblebee on Sprunky. They're still trying to get away from Richie in P4. They're still trying to catch up to Lorenzo, but Lorenzo's not giving any of them a chance, isn't he? It's 2.8 seconds. He's an absolute beast in the wet, it seems. And Joseph Allison in our comments saying, I think this is going to get spicy because Richie is faster than them in the rain. It's not looking that way now, but Richie's he's a patient driver. He's very patient in that car. I think he might just be managing his tires now to make a push at the end. I think he knows that Lorenzo's out of reach, and he's going to have to content himself with P2 or P3. But if Lorenzo makes a mistake on a curve in Ascari, if he has an off, this could change everything. Further down the grid, oh, there's a big battle going into Ascari here as Ephraim and CJ Butch side by side, and CJ Butch wisely backing out of that one. You don't want to go side by side through Ascari in the dry, let alone the wet, and if you do, you're going to want to make sure it's with somebody you trust 100%. And CJ Butch there backing out of that one. He's going to have another go down the straightaway though, and this time, is he going to get the move? Yes, he will. Oh, Ephraim might lose more than one. He has to take that super cautious into Parabolica. He's on the wetter line, and he almost lost that position to Craigo, and he's certainly going to have a slower top speed down this straightaway, as Craigo, I think, might just make a move here. And is he going to send it? No, he's not. Craigo, incredible patience there, and unfortunately for him, it looks like Bacher taking advantage of that incredible patience with a cheeky little sneak up the inside. Not going to be able to keep it under power, and as you can see, oh my, what has happened there? What the? That is a McLaren absolutely smacking into the wall. And I'm not sure how he had so much speed through there as he loses it yet again. And what is... Okay, I think at this point there's a bit of frustration going on from Bacher. I don't know how that happened. We just saw that McLaren show up out of nowhere. Did he go straight through turn 1? Was that under power? I don't know. VSC though, as Bacher gets moving again. No front wing though. Going to be a long way to the pits, and I do rather think he's not going to be finishing this race. But a VSC, we know how Sprunky is under VSCs. Can he close up that gap at all? Can he do it a third time? Synchros with a drive through. That's the third driver I think we've seen with a drive-through under VSC. Sprunky not closing up that gap that time, did not get lucky. He was mid-parabolica when it went green, and so not able to put the power down right away. Lorenzo taking it easy into turn 1. No need for dramatics here. Further down the grid, a couple of pit stops. Boris retiring from the session. Guys, why are you retiring now? There's 2 laps left. You're guaranteed points. Just get to the end. Put it on AI if you have to. Just finish the race. It's quite simple, really. There's free points, guys. Just finish the race. It's stupid. I'm sorry, but it's stupid to retire now. I don't care how bad your race is going. Finish the race. It's free points. Now you're not getting any because you haven't finished. All right. Well, that aside, 12 cars left. 2 guys deciding that free points just not worth it. Baccarat can somewhat justify. He was only getting 2 of them, and he was going to have to pit that wing anyway. So Boris running well into the top 10. He gets a 5-second penalty for speeding under in the pit lane, and just like that, he's going to give up. And he would have finished at least in the top 10. That's like 10 free points. Bumblebee and Sprunky neck and neck into Parabolica. They were so close that I thought one of them had an off because I couldn't see their dot on the map anymore. Bumblebee drifting a little bit wide through the middle of that corner, and a bit of, oh my goodness, a bit of wheel spin on the exit. That's going to give Richie the free position. I don't think he got pushed wide. I think he just got on the wet part of the track, and that car lost a little bit of grip. But now Richie, can he make a pass for P2? Lorenzo is off in the distance. He's going uncontested here. We got 1.5 laps. Oh no! Richie's losing it under acceleration, and Bumblebee going right into him. I don't know if there's damage from either of these guys, but Bumblebee getting a 5-second by the game. I'm sure that's going to get taken off by the stewards. That was not his fault at all. And this has allowed the pack behind them to catch up considerably, has it not? And both of these guys there, essentially they're out of P2 contention. Richie getting quite lucky there not to take any damage, because that was a big impact from Bumblebee. And as Bumblebee taking wing damage, it does not look like it. Not visual damage, at least. He might have taken that very light green wing kind of damage that does affect the car. But so far, it doesn't look like he's going to be okay. Quite a lucky escape from both of these drivers. Quite an unfortunate incident as Richie just losing the rear under power. The rear wheels just had no grip, it seems. And we start lap 27. Most of these positions, I want to say, have been figured out. Oh my goodness, Tokyo drifting through the last corners, Bumblebee. I'm sure he was full opposite lock there, keeping the car on track, doing a wonderful job at not spinning out. Bumblebee, if you're hearing the stream in the background, don't worry, that 5-second is coming off. That was not your fault, so don't worry about it affecting your final race results. Take a look at the penalties, though. Bumblebee's got 5. KTM Sweden's got 10. Bumblebee, of course, has 0, but that's what listed on the screen. Nobody except for Synchro has taken a corner cutting penalty this race, so it has been pretty clean for these guys. Oh, Rishi with a bit of an off there, dipping some wheels in the gravel. And I was saying, I think Lorenzo has turned on the cheat codes or something in my head. He's absolutely flying in the wet. I think Sprunky is just struggling a lot in the wet, because look, these two who had an off, they've already caught up to him. And Sprunky is just running a setup that is just not good for a wet racetrack. And there is still some time for Sprunky to lose 2 positions here through Ascari and down the back straight and into Parabolica. And we're going to find out if that's going to happen soon, because he is tiptoeing through the rain, and I think Richie might have him here, but before then is going to be Lorenzo crossing the line and winning the Italian Grand Prix, extending his championship lead. And with only 4 races left in the season, it is crucial time to be doing that. And is Richie going to be getting Sprunky at the line? It's going to be a drag race, but Sprunky is going to edge him out, and just barely by 0.041 is going to be Sprunky P2, Richie P3. What a great comeback drive by Richie there under wet conditions there, going long at the start of this race and claiming the podium. Bumblebee P4, Ephraim P5, Krago P6, Garan Potnar P7, KTM Sweden P8, Marko Selinovic P9, and Milios, that unfortunate drive through relegating him to P10, but I don't think we should discount that amazing drive by the Ferrari for the better half of this race. Nonetheless, he was running at the front. He was running well. He was keeping up with his teammate. I think we could have seen 2 Ferraris on the podium in Monza if it was not for that unfortunate VSC. KM Synchros P11, he was running well as well. Another one, his teammates on the podium. He could have had one of his own, but throughout the race there, just getting unfortunate with drive-thrus, sending him back down the grid. We had 4 retirements. It says driver of the day, Richie Cavallino, and I do think that might be the same opinion these drivers have post-race, because what a drive there from the Ferrari. Taking you through the final standings, well, the unofficial pre-stewarding standings at least. It is Lorenzo P1, Sprunky P2, Richie P3. Different 3 teams there on the podium. Ephraim P4, Lorenzo's teammate Krago P5 for the Red Bull. The 2 Mercedes going P7, P8 with a McLaren of Garang Potnar in the middle. Marko Selinovic P9, Emilio's P10, Synchros P11, and CJ Butch P12. He is the last of the finishing cars. Boris, Bacher, Azen, Always Rick, Vex Vexter, all DNFing from this race. The last 3 through 2 incidents, I believe. Vex Vexter was through Parabolica. We saw that one, brought out the safety car. Boris and Bacher retiring in the pits there with just a few laps left, giving up some points in the making. Lorenzo, 15 seconds he pulled in the last couple of laps in the wet. Absolutely insane. Milios, though, taking the fastest lap point. So this was quite a fun race. I'm not sure if Div 4 is done racing, but if they're not, you can go catch their live stream on our channel. If they are, though, in about 45 minutes, we will be back live with Division 2. It is time for me to go and put in a little bit of warm-up, some practice laps, and you'll see me on track there just a little bit later. Yeah, check out our partners in the description. Thank you to them for their support, and check out our socials as well. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe on YouTube, and if you enjoyed the live stream, make sure to like that as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'm ISRL Knight. Pleasure to broadcast at this Division 3 Italian Grand Prix with you. I'm going to be off now. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the Division 2 stream, I'm sure. Take care, guys.